Look, the Colt M4A1 is one of the most iconic guns in Escape from Tarkov, and there's no denying it. I've actually done a video recently talking about some of the different builds from budget to best. But the meta build actually changed recently, so today we're going to be talking about how to get the lowest recoil M4 possible, and some of the changes that came in 12.9. Stick around and enjoy.
Ну чё, бля, работаем, работаем.
Before we get into the video here today, I do want to remind you guys I do stream on Twitch. The link for that will be featured down below if you guys want to watch me running these builds live, as well as screenshots for all the builds I'm about to talk about here today. I also do apologize in advance about my voice. I am sick currently, so bear with me while we get through this video. Let's jump straight into mechanic, and you can actually buy an M4 low receiver at level 2 mechanic, and this thing is actually really awesome. We can talk about something like buying the rec battery and doing the 8R trade to get a really cheap M4, but we are just going to be buying the lower receiver here today, as this build requires us to strip it down completely anyway. Alright, so let's jump straight into the build here today, and this is going to be the lowest recoil M4, which is funnily enough actually a suppressed build as well. For charging handles, we have plenty of different options, but we are going to be sticking with the Raptor charging handle as it has an additional 3+ ergo, which is pretty phenomenal. Going through the options for stocks, we will be starting off with an advanced buffer tube, and on the end of that we have multiple options. Now weirdly enough, a lot of the options have actually changed. One of the options, the B5 precision stock, is actually pretty good, but the problem is the HKE1 outclasses it this time in the ergo, which is actually really interesting. In 12.9, the best in slot stock here is actually going to be the Magpul PRS Gen 3 stock, which actually has the best ergonomics here with the same amount of recoil reduction as the others. For the pistol grip, we're not going to be doing anything fancy. It is still going to be the Ergo HK Ergo PSG1 pistol grip. You can do other grips as they'll save you a lot of money, but this one is still the best. For the upper receiver, we'll be using the VL Tour MER 15, which is actually going to be the best in slot upper receiver once again. And for the handguard, we're not going to be doing anything special here today. It's still going to be the SAI 14.5 QD. We are going to be putting the 4.1 inch guide on here, and we are going to be putting a grip on here today. Now you can actually use the Zenit RK1 or the Zenit RK2 for the best recoil reduction, but we will be using the B25U RK1. It is currently the most expensive but best in slot grip here. For the barrel options, we've got plenty. We are going to be using a 20-inch extended barrel here today, as it has the best recoil reduction out of the suppressed options. For the gas block, we have multiple choices. The MK12 is going to give us the best ergo, whereas the JP Enterprises will actually give us 1% recoil reduction. So the meta for the suppressor has actually changed quite significantly. It used to be the Daniel Wave compensator with the Daniel Wave suppressor, or the SF3P and the Surefire SOCOM suppressor over the top of that. Both of these have actually been outclassed by the new recent addition and buff in 12.9, which is the 223CB Thunder Beast suppressor and compensator duo. I'm going to be starting off with the muzzle brake on here, and putting the suppressor over the top of it actually gives us 21.5% recoil reduction, which is insane. As for scopes in 12.9, nothing's really changed. The Cobra now no longer gives you negative recoil percentage, but I do want to point out that you can pretty much put any scope you want in this meta. It doesn't really matter, but if you do use the Cobra, you can put the Cobra on to -2 ergonomics, and if you put the shade on, you actually get +3 ergonomics. So technically, it's like having a scope without losing any ergo. If that really matters to you, that is an option. Once again, I wanted to point out that you can actually switch on the gas block here from the JP to the MK12 and save a significant amount of money, because a lot of people are selling this JP Enterprises gas system for an incredible amount of money on the flea market. Same with the pistol grip. Once again, you don't have to use the PSG1. You can use something like the Magpul Mo AR-15 pistol grip, the FD or the black variant, as they are much cheaper and reasonably priced compared to the Ergo PSG1 grip. We are going to look at the price of this gun, coming in at around 315,000 rubles. That is including the gun, which is actually pretty decent, guys. However, if you can't get max traders, this is going to cost you significantly more, so I just wanted to point that out. So let's have a quick look at the suppressors. I just want to point out that the Daniel Wave is actually -17%, although you actually suffer less of an ergo hit, and you also get a little bit of an accuracy buff. I do want to point out that this is -17%, but mostly also the most expensive suppressor combination, followed shortly behind by the SF3P and the Surefire SOCOM suppressor, which is actually -18% recoil, but it has been outclassed by the Thunder Beast Ultra 5 sound suppressor, which is actually a whopping negative 13% recoil, with the compensator being the lowest out of the compensators out of negative 8.5, giving you a total of 21.5% recoil reduction. Alright, so let's get into the meta loud build, and not a lot's changed from this build from the suppressed build. The first thing we will be doing here today is reducing the barrel size down to 370mm. As soon as you get the 370mm barrel, we are going to be putting on the Bulletech compensator, which used to be the best in slot anyway, the Bulletech ST. Once you put that on, you are going to go ahead and add the JP Enterprises gas block. Now, once again, this is a choice you have to make. And we are going to be putting the SAI jailbreak over the top of that. And that's pretty much it for this gun. Nothing really changed except for the stock now being the PRS Gen 3. Now, this gun will set you back 225,000 rubles, which is actually significantly cheaper than the suppressed build. So this is something that you need to think about when you're making your decision. So obviously, this thing has a lot of muzzle flash, and we'll show that shortly in a second here. Before we get into the comparison, I just wanted to point out that my AR skill and also my recoil control skill are actually incredibly low because I haven't been playing a lot this wipe. I do want to point out that your assault rifle skill and your recoil skill do affect the recoil and how it feels as well. And the more you level up your assault rifle skill by reloading your SKS or just firing your gun off auto, the lower the recoil will be as well. So let's jump into shooting comparison here today. This is the Loud M4 build. We're just going to fire it up against a wall to see some of that recoil up in action here. And now for the suppressed M4, this is the meta build. Let's have a look at that recoil. When we have a quick look at the comparison of the recoil, I just wanted to point out that just have a look at that grouping, and it's only going to get better the more you level your assault rifle skill or your recoil control, which is just absolutely nutty, making this suppressed build and this loud build one of the most scary guns in Escape from Tarkov. So that's it for this gun build guide. If you guys enjoyed anything about this video here today, feel free to subscribe. Once again, I do apologize about my voice. I am currently sick at the moment, but we will be getting back into more awesome content following up soon, especially some ammo testing content. I know you guys have been begging for 300 Blackout and others, so I will be working on that, I do promise. Thank you for watching to the end, and as always, we'll see you on the next one.